Alright, for this video we want to go over a sample Arizona Form A-4, which is an employee's Arizona withholding certificate. And this is filed by employees with their employer to determine how much Arizona state income tax needs to be withheld from their wages. So we've got the A-4 here, which we'll cover. We have a copy of the taxpayer's last year state income tax return, so the Arizona Form 140. And we have a copy of the taxpayer's 2023 Form W-2. So if we have a look at the A-4, the top is pretty straightforward, right? We're just including the taxpayer's name, your address, and then your social security number. When we look at the withholding elections, you have either option 1 or 2. So option 2 is if you elect to have no Arizona state income taxes withheld from your wages because you expect that you're not going to have any Arizona tax liability for the year. Now, what does that mean? For reference, if we have a look at last year's return, so the taxpayer had a little over $55,000 of income. They had Arizona taxable income here on line 45 of $41,410, and Arizona taxes on line 52 of $1,035. Now, after accounting for the withholding of $1,650, he ultimately got a refund of $615. But the point to focus on is how much tax were you liable for based on your income. And so he did owe a little over $1,000 in taxes. So if you expect that your income is going to be roughly the same or maybe even more and you're going to owe tax, option 2 is not going to be available to you because you will have some tax liability for the year. So now we're looking at option 1. So option 1, we have a number of options here to select. What rate do we want to have state income taxes withheld from our gross wages? And so if we have a look at his W-2 from last year, his gross wages were $55,000 and he had state income taxes withheld of $1,650. So that's 3% of his wages, $55,000. And then in looking at his return for last year, he says, well, maybe that was too much, right? I had $1,650 withheld. I got a refund of $615, so maybe I can lower my withholding, and that'll be more in line with my tax liability for the year. So if John thinks that his wages, his investment income is going to be roughly the same, then he decides, well, instead of using 3%, which I did for last year, I'm going to drop it down to 2% instead, because that'll be more in line with what I estimate my tax liability will be for state income taxes purposes. So he selects item 2.0, so 2.0%, selects box 1, and then he goes down here and he signs, dates this, and he files this or provides it to his employer, and then his employer will withhold at the appropriate rate. Alright, so that covers it for this video. Hope that was helpful. Any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. And as always, I appreciate you watching and look forward to seeing you on the next one.